Before the legend, there was a man. Admiral Richard E. Byrd was not a fringe figure. He wasn't a mystic. He wasn't a conspiracy theorist. He was one of the most decorated explorers in American history. A naval officer, a war hero, a pilot. He flew over the North Pole, then the South Pole, at a time when both were still blank spaces on the map. Byrd led massive polar expeditions, thousands of men, ships, aircraft, scientists. His job was to go where maps ended, and came back with answers. So when his name later became attached to a story about hidden worlds and ancient civilizations, people listened. Not because the story sounded reasonable, but because he sounded reasonable. And that's where the legend begins. According to this story, in early 1947, Byrd took part in a flight over Antarctica. His aircraft passed over endless ice, white, flat, featureless. Then, something changed. His instruments began to behave strangely. Navigation became unreliable. Radio signals weakened. And below him, the ice began to break. Not into ocean, into land. A massive opening in the frozen world revealed something impossible. Green terrain, rolling hills, rivers, forests. Warm sunlight reflected off water instead of snow. The legend says Byrd flew lower and lower, passing between icy cliffs into a hidden valley. Inside Antarctica was a temperate world. There, he saw animals resembling mammoths, large ancient creatures grazing in open fields. Not a cave, not a tunnel, a world beneath the world. And then, the aircraft was no longer alone. Disc-shaped craft approached, flying silently, perfectly controlled. They guided him, not aggressively, not defensively, purposely. He was escorted deeper into this inner land. Beyond the valley was something greater. A city, not a primitive settlement, but an advanced civilization. Stone structures terraced into cliffs, roads without vehicles, buildings that seemed grown rather than built. Light didn't come from lamps. It came from the air itself, a soft golden glow. The beings who lived there were described as tall, pale, calm, Nordic in appearance. They wore flowing garments and spoke with quiet authority. Byrd was brought before a leader, referred to only as the Master. And there, the legend shifts from geography to warning. He was told that their civilization had existed for thousands of years, that surface humanity was young, aggressive, unstable. They said they had watched humanity rise, and now, for the first time, feared it. Because of atomic weapons, they allegedly told Byrd that nuclear bombs had disturbed the balance of the planet, that the explosions reached deeper than anyone realized, not just into the sky, but into the earth itself. They warned that continued use of such weapons would bring destruction to the surface world, and possibly to the inner one as well. Byrd was not allowed to stay. He was escorted back to his aircraft, given a message, and sent home. The story says Byrd recorded this encounter, but not in official logs. Instead, in a private diary, a journal meant for his eyes only, a diary that supposedly described the flight, the green land, the city, the beings, the warning. For decades, no one knew of it. Then, a document surfaced called The Secret Diary of Admiral Byrd. It described Agartha. It described flying discs. It described an advanced inner civilization. It said the US government ordered silence, that the knowledge was too dangerous, too destabilizing. Whether real or fabricated, the diary gave the legend a physical form. Not just a story, but a book. Something you can hold. And that's when the legend grew teeth. Now enter the military. In 1946, the US Navy launched Operation Highjump. It was massive. Aircraft carriers, destroyers, submarines, thousands of personnel. Officially, it was for cold weather training and Antarctic research. But the rumors said otherwise. Some claimed the real mission was to search for a secret Nazi base. During World War II, Germany had sent expeditions to Antarctica. They mapped part of the coast called New Swabia. They dropped markers. They showed interest in the region. After the war, rumors spread that remnants of the Nazi regime had fled south, and beyond that they had discovered something under the ice, the same thing Byrd had seen. According to the legend, Highjump was not just exploration, it was reconnaissance, looking for hidden bases, hidden entrances, hidden technology. But something went wrong. The expedition ended earlier than planned. Ships damaged, planes lost. Official explanations cited weather and accidents. But the legend claims they encountered resistance, not from humans, but from craft that rose from the ice. Flying discs that outperformed military aircraft, and the Navy quietly withdrew. Whether true or not, Highjump became part of the mythology. A military footnote turned into a forbidden chapter. In the legend, Byrd's role was not to expose Agartha, but to carry a message. Not about geography, about behavior. The beings beneath the earth were said to be peaceful, technologically advanced, but unwilling to intervene unless forced. They did not want war. They did not want conquest. They wanted humanity to survive itself. The warning was simple. If surface humanity continued down the path of nuclear destruction, it would not be allowed to spread. Some versions say they had intervened before in ancient times, that lost civilizations had risen and fallen, and that modern humanity was walking the same road. Whether this warning was ever delivered to world leaders, or ever existed at all, the story gave Cold War fear a cosmic audience. It wasn't just humans watching us. It was something older and deeper. So, did Admiral Byrd really fly into a hidden world beneath Antarctica? Is there a warm land under the ice? A city beneath the South Pole? A civilization watching from below? There's no proof, no confirmed records, no official acknowledgement, but the story refuses to disappear. It connects too many strange threads. Antarctica, Nazis, flying discs, atomic weapons, lost civilizations, and the fear that the Earth still has places we don't control. Maybe it's just a myth, a Cold War story dressed in uniforms and ice. Or maybe it's what happens when humanity flies too far south and glimpses something it wasn't meant to see. It could be true, and if it were, the real mystery wouldn't be what's under the ice. It would be why the world was told to forget. This is Joshua Tree Encounters, where UFOs, cryptids, and strangeness collide.